So your online homework due tonight will be 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. So if you guys have any questions about these three sections, let me know, because I do have some questions on 1.1 and 1.3. We will concentrate more on 1.3 today because it is word problem. So we will talk more about 1.3 today. But there are some questions on 1.1, and if you have any questions, just let me know because we will definitely going over these kind of questions in class. Just a reminder to you guys, let me share my screen. Next week is 1.4, 1.5, and 1.7. These are my old Zoom meetings that I recorded. So I really highly recommend you guys to watch these three Zoom meetings here. So I really highly recommend to watch these three Zoom meetings. That is the last three actually. So we skip 1.6. So some of you are asking me about 1.6. We are skipping 1.6. So this is found in your in D2L. So make sure that this is your last three homework assignments that is due on next Tuesday by midnight. So next Tuesday we will have the last Zoom meeting, which cover 1.4, 1.5, and 1.7. I would highly recommend you to watch these three Zoom meetings that is recorded from my previous last summer class. So please go over that. Next is your test, your final. Your final test is going to be covered chapter 1. It will go from 1.1 to 1.7. We will skip 1.6. If you guys want to review for your tests, I do not know you guys review for your midterms, but if you have not reviewed for your midterm before, then I recommend you to click on the link. They probably want me to. So if you click on the name, if you link, and if they have a if you have that, you just need to sign in. Okay. So if you click on the link that is on the D2L there, and you just need to sign in, and then so they will have this pop out. So those students who want to review for the test. So yeah, use the textbook. Oh my God, this one they give me a long one. I'm gonna just skip right here. Sorry about that. So this is the link is really bad. So because you need to log on to it. So so I don't know you guys review for my midterms or not, but this link is not really good. So in order for you, just go to the website, to the D2 to web assign, click on the textbook. And then there will be something, there will be the chapter 1. So you go to chapter 1 here. And then you go to the review, the chapter tests. I don't know you guys did this or not in your, so you go all the way down to chapter tests right over here. And this is your chapter tests here. So I don't know you guys did review for my midterm last week. But if you have not do this, I would strongly suggest you to do this because your finals will look very similar to this one. So please, you need to go through this one because it will be a big problem. Like question, you can skip 20. Okay, you can skip question 20. We won't have these kind of questions in there. Okay, skip question 20. We won't have these kind of questions. But the rest is gonna be you have it. So I will recommend you to please review this for your finals. And when is your finals? Your final is gonna be on next week. So not this week, it's next week, Thursday, September 24, 9:30 to 11, the same time, the same classroom, CRA 144. So if your last names are A to K, September 24, Thursday. If your last names are L to Z, September 25, Friday, 9 to 11. And again, class, don't forget to do your self-assessment if you are going into the college in order for you to, and if you fail this self-assessment, you have to contact me. So I will recommend you to, if you know someone has a COVID-19 that, positive tested, your family member, whoever it is, you will not able to come to school. So I will recommend that if you have someone who has COVID-19 that you with the person for a day or two before your finals, you are not allowed. You have to set a Zoom meeting, Zoom testing with me like this. We're gonna do Zoom testing. So make sure you guys please let me know. So these are the 2 days. Does anyone have any questions for me regarding with the last schedule here? With 141517 for next week homework. And then your finals is next Thursday and Friday, not this coming Thursday, Friday, it's next Thursday, Friday at 9:30 to 11. Does anyone have any questions for me with this? Nope. So please put in your cell phone to remind yourself that your test time, your test day, and where CIA 144. So please make sure you put it back in your cell phone as to remind you, because I still have 1 or 2 students that didn't take the midterm. Yep, and they got a 0 in the midterm. So they end up dropping the class. So make sure this is finals. Final is 35% of your final grade. So make sure you guys do come and take the finals. So if you have no questions, we can continue with homework here. So does anyone have any questions on 1.1? I'm talking about 1.1. So anyone have any questions on 1.1? I have a first
Number
question.
7.
7?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. Yep,
Okay.
7. Mostly a lot of students manage to figure out the table. The main point of doing question 7 is graphing, okay? So I will do it here for question number 7 here. This is 1.1. So this is y plus 1 equals to 8/9x. So this question number 7 here is you have to replace x to become -2. So so you got y plus 1 equals to 8/9 times -2. Now, I do not know you guys know how to use your calculator for fraction. Yes, your calculator has fraction symbol. The symbol that you see mostly for fraction is the ABC. So if you guys have a calculator, your scientific calculator, take it out because you will see the ABC button. If you use your cell phone calculators, you won't have the ABC button. So how do we do this? If you want to put in your calculator is you take 8 and then you type ABC. There should be an ABC button, and then 9. So in the screen, they will look something like this. This is what happens in your screen. And then you need to multiply this by -2. Then you have a screen looks like multiplication, and then with a -2. So I don't know, you guys, make sure you guys know how to use your calculator, because you are allowed to use one in your test. So make sure all your calculators able to do fractions, and that fraction is actually the ABC button. Okay. So you will get yourself a mixed number. So if you type this and press enter or equal, you get yourself looks something like this. -1. Is that something where you guys something like that? -1 and then a little sign like this, and then is it 7/9, something like this? So this is what we call, this is, if you have something like this in your calculator, it means that this is a mixed number. It means it's -1/7/9. Okay, so in order for you to change it back to improper fraction, you press second shift in your calculator and the ABC button, and then enter or equal or whatever you have. So this will change to become -16/9. So this is -16/9. You guys following so far with your calculators? Because as you know that it can be fractions in your test, so make sure you guys know how to. And then in order for us to solve for y, you have to subtract 1, right? We have to -1 over here. So so what you do with the calculator is you just got this answer, you just type -1. So that will give you a number. I think is, well, you get 25 over 9. So what you get, right? Use your calculator. I really suggest you to use your calculator here. So your y value in this case is negative 25 over 9. So this will be negative 25 over 9. And then in here, you just need to put the coordinates down, which is negative 2, comma, negative 25 over 9. So this is how we do this kind of questions. And then you do one more. We'll do one more. We put 0. 0 is the most easiest one. So now we will put 0 inside here. And 8 over 9 times with 0, you still get 0. So what do I have in this case is y plus 1 equals to 0, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So y in this case is negative 1. So this one is easy. So this is a negative 1. So this is 0, comma, negative 1. Okay. The rest of this, you got go ahead and try to do this on your own, because they are pretty much using your calculator. So this one, you replace 1 over here, and you will get an answer. So I will do it really quick. So this is y plus 1 equals to, as you know that 8 over 9 times 1, you will still get back 8 over 9. And then after that, you have to subtract 1 to make for y. So this will give us negative 1 over 9. Use your calculator again. You can use the ABC button for fraction. So this is negative 1 over 9. So this is 1 comma negative 1 over 9. Now the rest of this you can figure out on your own. You just need to substitute, which everyone knows how to do it. Now my question is how you graph this equation, this straight line. Now pay attention here, those students who didn't get this correct. In order for you to graph this straight line, you need 2 points. You only need to graph 2 points, not 5 points. You do not need to graph 5 points, you just need 2 points. So you pick 2 of the points that is in your table here. I definitely will pick the 0, negative 1. I will pick this point to graph because this is the easiest point to graph. And maybe I will pick 1, negative 1. I will pick these 2 points. I'll pick the easy point to graph. So this one is easy. So in order for you to graph, please pay attention here. First thing first is you have to click on this line. Okay, this symbol. So when you click on this symbol, you got 3 options. This is called a line segment, means that it doesn't go to infinity. So this is wrong. Don't pick this one. This is called a ray. A ray means that you start one, it goes to infinity on one end, and this is a line. So we will pick this line. So you have to click on it. Make sure it's all bold. So you have to do the 0, negative 1. 0, negative 1 is this point. Okay, and then the other one is I will pick is 1, negative 1, 9. 1, negative 1, 9 is somewhere here. This is 1, negative 1, 9 is somewhere here. But unfortunately, when you click on it, they don't give you 1, negative 1, 9. They give you 1, negative 1, 0. So this is 1, 0. So how do you fix this? Pay attention. Is click on this line 1. 0, negative 1, we have that. And then 1, negative, this is the one that is wrong. So you have to change it to negative 1 over 9. You guys got it? And then you just click submit answer. Yep, should work. Okay, so let me repeat again. First thing first, click on this. Double click on this, you get a line. Second is, let me clear off for you. So double click this one, then pick the 0, negative 1, which is this fellow. And then the other line, the other point is 1, negative 1, 9. I just put 1, 0, because I cannot do negative 1, 9 on the graph. But what you do is you have to manually enter it. So how do you just click on the line 1? The first point is correct, 0, negative 1, but the second point, you have to change this to become negative 1 over 9. So you have to manually type it up, negative 1 over 9. and then you get yourself the point, the line. And you only need 2 points, not 5, not 3, just 2. You guys okay so far here with this one? Okay. And if you still have problems with this graph, a lot of people get this all correct except for this graph. Send me an email, and I will, if your graph is correct, I will give you back the point. Okay. So this is on question number 7. The next one I see students have problem is number 19. Where is number 19? 16, 17, 18, 19. Yep, this is the one. Okay. Then we'll talk more if you have more. Question number 19 is talking about, this is called the equation of the circle, okay, in a standard form. So in order for you to have an equation of a circle in a standard form, your formula in this case will be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared. So this is what we call as the equation of the circle in a standard form. The HK in this case is your center. As you know that when you draw a circle, you need to have a center of a circle, and that coordinates is HK. And the R that you see here is your radius. Now, I just want to point out to you that as something that is special here is, first thing is this equation has a negative symbol on it. So that means that your h and k here has to be flipped. What do we mean by flip in this case is, example is like this question number 18, number 18. So if your center is 4, -6, so when you plug in here, you have to flip your sign. That means your 4 is a positive, it becomes negative. And then your k in this case is a -6. Flip it, so negative become positive. So this is +6. So make sure you guys know how to do this. Make sure that this one is flipped. And the second thing about your radius is this radius is square. So you have to square your radius. So if you look at this question 18, the radius is a square root of 11. So what you need to do here is you have to square it. And the good news is the square and square root will cancel. So what you have in this case is 11. And this is the answer for question number 18. And do not FOIL it out, distribute, or something else. Just leave it as this. Same thing in your tests, in your finals. So if I ask these kind of questions, you have to leave it like that. You don't need to FOIL or do anything else on it. Okay. So this is how we do question 18. But question 19 is special. And the reason why I say question 19 is special in this case is this time it given us the endpoint of a diameter. So this is a circle, and the diameter is actually a line that is crossing right on the center. Okay, so this is called a diameter. So the diameter is given us by the coordinates of 11, -3, and 3, 13. So as you guys know that in order for us to find the center and the radius, in order for you to put in this equation, you need to know your center and the radius. So class, please pay attention here because this question is coming up in your finals. Okay, so please attention. So in order for you to find the center, center is actually the midpoint. Because if you've given us these two coordinates, this center is actually located right in the middle of this. So it's a midpoint. So do you guys still remember what is the midpoint formula in this case? You did it in my midterm last week. Anyone remember the midpoint formula? Anyone?
Is it x1 plus x2 divided by 2?
Mm-hmm.
And y1 plus y2 divided by 2?
Very good. So you add them and divide by 2. Yes. So in this case, you add the 11 plus 3 over 2, because this is x1, and this is x2. And then for your y is -3 plus 13 divided by 2. So make sure you guys know that it is a coordinates, not addition, subtraction. This is a coordinates. So this is your x value, this is your y value. So this will give me 7. And this will give me 5. So 14 plus 2, 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this will be your h, and this is your k. So this is taking care of my hk here. Okay, so as you guys know that you need your center, which we got it. Now you need to figure out your radius. So this is called the radius. From the center to one of these points is called radius. This is called radius. So did anyone know how to find the radius in this case? You have to use the distance formula. Remember the distance formula? Square root of, this is again what you did in my midterm, x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. This is the distance formula. So you subtract your x and you square it, and you subtract your y and you square it, and then you square it. So in this case, my center we already figure out, which is 7, 5. So what do I do here is I take my x values, I subtract it, and I square it. So 7 minus 3, and you square it. So this is 7, this is 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4, right? And 4 squared in this case is 16. Don't forget it's plus. Now you do the y value, the difference. So the y value is 5 minus 13. And you square it. So the y is 5 and 13. So you minus them and square it. So 5 minus 13 is -8. And when you square it, all your negative will become positive. So this will become 64. Okay, so not a negative is a positive answer because when you square negative, positive. So this will become, when you add 16 and 64, this will become 80. Square of 80. And then what you need to do is you apply this formula to it. So remember your HK here. I told you that you have to flip your sign. So can someone tell me what is the equation for, what's the answer for number 19? Anyone know the answer for number 19?
80.
Zenep, the formula is subtract. And you take 7 minus 3 here. This is the formula for distance, Zenep. And your y, this is your x1. This is your y1. This is your x2. And that's your y2. Yes, because your center is your midpoint. So that's why this is where it goes. And center to the point is a radius. So someone say something, Victoria or Kara, someone say x minus what?
X minus 7 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 80.
Very good, that is correct. And don't forget, just leave it like this. This is your answer for question number 19. Questions? Anyone have any questions in 1.1 before we move on to 1.2? Anyone have any questions in 1.1 before we move to 1.2?
Yeah, I do. On number 15, I was a little confused on how they got the table values.
15.
Yeah. Like I
This
got
one. This
yeah.
one.
Like I got the problem and everything. I was just confused on why they just started doing the table values.
Oh, because do you know how to graph this equation?
Yes.
How do you graph it?
Hold on. Let me.
You're okay with XY intercept, right?
Yes.
You're okay
Yeah.
with the symmetry, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the reason why they use table is they want to figure out how to graph this value in this case.
Okay.
Okay, so if you know how to graph this without using a table, good. That means you're ready for college algebra. Because in college algebra, you will learn how to graph this without using a table.
Okay.
And the reason why they use a table in this case is because everyone okay with number 19 before I start a new one? You guys okay with number 19 here? Before we start doing number 815? Because once I delete off, it's no longer, it's gone. So, right. You can take a picture of it or you can rewatch this again. So I recommend you to rewatch it again. So number 15, the reason why they use the table in this case is because they want you to
hit more than those 2 points that the X and Y intercept.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't have a y-intercept, right?
Right.
So you cannot graph a graph with just only 1 point.
Okay.
So you have your find your x-intercept. I think your x-intercept is
1 and 0.
1, 0. Yep. So that means that on this graph you only have 1 point, which is 1, 0.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why they built a table here is because they want you to figure out a few more points, then you can graph it. So because you're not in the college algebra yet, so if you're in college algebra, I will show you the shortcut. But right now, the thing here is that if you use anything else that is if you use your x is let's say if you use x is 0, you get square root of 1 minus 0, right? I put 0 in here. So that gives us 1. So you find out that when x is 0, your y is 1. So you get this point here. Now, if you put 2 in here, this is 1 minus 2. This is no good. The reason why this is no good is because this is a negative 1, right? 1 minus 2 is negative 1. A square root cannot have a negative number. It can. Later on in 1.5, we call this as imaginary. We call it as I. Okay, so in the next homework in 1.5, this is only 1.5. So when you do 1.5, this is what we talk about, imaginary numbers. But in this case, we cannot have it. Same thing with 3, 4, 5. If you plug this inside, you get 1 minus 3, 1 minus 4, and 1 minus 5. They all came out to be a negative inside here. So this is all no good. So this telling us that your graph cannot be anything above 1. Because if you use any numbers above 1, you figure out they're all negative, which is complex.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That's why they use the negative numbers.
So you have to use the negative.
That's
0 is
so you have confused about.
Yep. And slowly, this graph will look something like this and like this. If you plug negative 1 and negative 2, it looks something like that. So your graph will look something like this one. So if which looks like which looks like this one. You see that? It starts from -1 and it goes to the left. Okay. So when you guys go to college algebra, that's where we use a shortcut. We don't use this table. Okay, which is a bit more work. It have used transformations and so on. So in college algebra, you learn the shortcut to do this. So this is this answer. You okay there so far with this one? Okay. Anyone have any questions on this 1.1 before we move on to 1.2? If you do, you can stay back after class. I have like 10-15 minutes, so you can ask me. All right, so let's move on to 1.2 because our main goal is really doing 1.3. Anyone have any questions on 1.2, solving equations? This one didn't get anyone from you guys. Anyone have any questions on 1.2? 15, is that 1.2, right? 15, 19, and 20. All right, 15. Now, so in this case, we have fractions. So majority of students having trouble with this section is mostly fraction, as what Kara asked all these questions. They're mostly all fractions. So yes, you will get this kind of fractions answer here. So as usual, what you do here is make everything as a fraction. So I make this x over 1, so everything is a fraction. So the main part of doing to solve fractions equation like this is you have to find the LCD. So what is the LCD for 4, 2, 1, 2? When you look at LCD, you look for the LCD for all the denominator, not just the partial, every single one of this. So what's the LCD for this case? 4, 2, 1, 2. What number goes into 4, 2, 1, and 2? 4. Yep, that's correct. So what you do here is you want to make all this denominator looks like 4. Now this is already 4, so you do not need to touch it. This one you need to multiply by 2, right? But you guys know that in fractions, if you multiply by 2 on the bottom, you have to do the same thing on top. Same thing here, you have to multiply this by 4 to get rid of that, to make it as 4 in the denominator. And the last one, you need to multiply by 2 to make it as 4. So what happens now is in equation, this is called equation because it has an equal sign. If all of this is the same as 4, 4, 4, 4, which is the same as your LCD, you can scratch the whole thing out. And what you do is only your numerator, you solve it. So in your numerator, you got 5x plus 2. 1 times 2 is 2. X times 4 is 4x equals to 4x minus 1 times 2 is 2. So this fraction equation turns out to be a very easy normal whole number equation. And I think you guys know how to solve for this one, right? I just leave this to you. You guys know how to solve this one, right? This is easy to solve now. And once you solve it, that's your answer. Whatever you solve, that's your answer. I think your answer is -4. And that's it. Okay. So this is how we do question number 15. But for number 19, it's going to be a little bit tough. Why I say number 19 is a little bit tough is because now your denominator, it has x on it. Do you see your denominator have x on it? Okay. Last time your denominator is number like 4, 2, 1, so it's easy. So for number 19 is a little bit tough because it has variables now. So if you have a variables in your denominator, so what you need to do first here is you have to factor your denominator. So you have to factor your denominator first before you find your LCD. Okay. So look at all your denominator here, and you need to factor it. But the good news is x minus 1 cannot be factored. 3x plus 1 also cannot be factored because usually when you have factor, you have the square. Okay, or you do the LCD, least common the GCF, your greatest common factor. But in this case, there's no factor involved here because you cannot factor any of this denominator. So since you cannot factor it, so we can do the LCD here. Now the LCD looks very similar like what you have as fraction. Now if you get yourself 1/7 plus 1/6, what is your LCD in this case? If you have this kind of fraction. What's the LCD in this case? If you have this one, just a normal fraction here. Anyone know how to find an LCD for this one? This is easy, hello. 42, right? Yeah. So you take 7 times 6, right? That's why you get 42, right? The reason why you do this is because there is nothing in common between 7 and 6. So that's why you multiply it. But if this 7 is become 8, you don't do 8 times 6, right? You have to figure out a number. So what is the LCD if I change that 7 to become 8? Anyone know how to find the LCD? 8 times 6 is not the least. So 42 is not the least. It's still correct. It's not the least. So 24. So 24 is correct. How do you get 24? This is how I showed to you how you get 24. 8 is 2 times 4, right? 6 is 2 times 3. So what I've written down here is factor. The factor of 8 is 2 times 4, and the factor of 6 is 2 times 3. And you notice that these two are the same. So if they are the same, then you can write this as 1 time. And then the 4 and the 3 is the leftover, you multiply it. So the leftovers. And then if you multiply 2 times 3 times 4, this is where you get your 24. So this is the same thing for question number 19, because this and this are not the same. This is the same as that. So the LCD in this case will be x minus 1 and 3x plus 1. This is your LCD in this case. So as usual, you look at this LCD and you look at here, what is missing on this? This is missing 3x plus 1. 3x plus 1, yep. Because this one has x minus 1, so it's missing 3x plus 1. So you have to multiply this with 3x plus 1. This one is missing x minus 1, so you have to multiply this with x minus 1. Top and bottom. And the last one is also missing x minus 1. So what you notice here now is all your denominator is the same as your LCD. Like remember last time, if they're the same as LCD, what you do with this denominator is you just cancel it out. So in your test, don't do like this. I want to see it, so make sure that you guys just draw a line underneath it like this, so at least I can see what you're doing. So what you have now is your numerator. So in your numerator, you have to distribute. So you have to distribute your 4 inside. So you become 12x plus 4. You have to distribute your 6 in there. So it becomes 6x minus 6 equals to, and then you distribute 15 in there. So you get 15x minus 15. You guys all right here so far? So this is very easy now because your equation is no longer a fraction. It's just a whole number here. And what you do here, you combine like terms and you solve it. So 12x plus 6x is 18x. And then 4 minus 6 is negative 2. And then you got 15x minus 15. And then usually I subtract 15x. So I make all my x on one side. So I subtract 15x. And the negative 2, I add 2 in here. So that's solving equations. So what you left in this case is 3x here. And negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13. And then you divide this by 3. So your answer in this case is x equals to negative 13 over 3. Which I want to point out to you guys that if you have x in your question in your denominator here, you have to check your answer. And this, and sometimes your answer is what we call as an extraneous. What is meaning when I say extraneous is you got your answer, but when you plug it in, it does not check. So how do you check for extraneous solution here? It's very easy, is to plug this X into your LCD. If one of these becomes 0, then it's extraneous. So if you plug negative 13/3 into your X here, does that make him 0? If you plug negative 13/3 over here, does that make this one 0? No. So this is good. And then you plug negative 13/3 over on this X. Don't forget you have plugged twice because your LCD has 2. Does that make him 0? The answer is no. Doesn't make him 0. So in this case, this answer is good. Okay. What happens if you solve this? Let's say you solve this and you end up with 1. You solve, and you get X equals to 1. And when you plug 1 into this LCD, will that make him 0? 1 minus 1 is 0, right? Yeah. So for this case, this, if you have answer is 1, this answer is called extraneous because you will make your denominator 0. I don't know you guys remember your test, your midterm test. Do I tell you to figure out, find the domain of a fraction? Remember that? And in order for you to find a domain, you cannot make your denominator 0. So when you plug 1 inside this will make him 0. So that's why this is no good. Can you tell me another answer that you plug in here is also make it extraneous? Does anyone know what? So you just solve 3x plus 1 equals to 0. Where's 3x plus 1? Where's x is when you solve 3x plus 1 equals to 0? When you make this equals 0, your answer is negative 1/3. So these are the 2 answers will make him extraneous. The reason why is because when you plug it in here, it will make him 0. But the rest of the answer is good, is checked. These are the only 2 answers that's not checked. Okay, so this is how we do the extraneous solution in this case. I think you will see an answer next. I think the 21 is the, I might be, yeah, I don't know. I will do question 20. You guys all right with 19 here? So I will show it to you again how we do the extraneous one on number 20. So can I start with a new blank piece here before we continue with 20? Again, watch this YouTube again if you need help. So for 20 is 40 over by x squared minus 8x plus 6 over x equals to 5 over x minus 8. Now again, you need to factor. The good news is the first one you can factor it. Okay, the first one you can factor this one. So this factor will become, what can you factor here? Anyone? What can you factor out? Anyone know how to factor this one? Can you factor out? Yep. So you can take out, okay, right? You take out your x out. So you will get x minus 8. Now this and this cannot be factored. So this is been factored. So I don't. So can someone tell me what is the LCD in this case? Anyone know how to find an LCD in this case? Look at all these 3 fractions. Denominator. Anyone know how to find LCDs here? This kind of questions you see in your finals. You'll get this kind of question in your finals. So pay attention if you doesn't know. So see the X here and the X here. So they came out twice. So your LCD is just X. And then X minus 8 and X minus 8 also came out twice. You write one time. So your LCD in this case will be just X times X minus 8. Next, you compare your fractions with the LCD. Now this first one is good to go because it is exactly the same as your LCD, so you do not need to multiply anything to it. The second one, you need to multiply by X minus 8 because that's missing X minus 8. And the last one is missing X, so you have to multiply this by X. So what you notice now is all your denominator looks like your LCD, so we can cancel everything out. So you just need to solve your numerator. So you got 40 here, plus, distribute my 6 inside. So I got 6x minus 48. And then I got 5x here. This is easy to solve, right? I want you guys to go ahead and solve this for me and tell me what is your x value is. Go ahead and do it. This is easy to solve now. Make sure you know how to solve this. This is super, super easy. Yep, very good. Zainab is correct. So it's x equals to 8 is correct. Okay, but if you put 8 in your here, in your answer, they mark you wrong. Does anyone know why 8 is wrong here? Yep, 8, right? It's correct. As I told everyone, Zainab, yep, 8 is correct. But why 8 is wrong? This is what happens in your test. This is a question I'll come up in a test, and a lot of students leave as 8, and I mark it wrong. Same thing here. 8 is correct. You solve x is 8. Anyone know why?
We have to go back and check.
Very good. Yes, Victoria, you're correct. You have to check this. So you plug 8 into your LCD. Does that make him 0?
Yes.
Yes. So this is, if you say yes, that means this is your extraneous solution. So that means 8 is no good. So what is your answer in this case? Your answer in this case will be no solution. This is what I'm looking for. So that's the reason why that this is wrong. So this is what, if no solution, enter no solution. All caps. I just want to point out to you that if you type all in lowercase, they also mark you wrong. So all caps, no solution. So in the test, this answer is no solution. You guys got me here. So a lot of students forget to check, and that's why they got it wrong. And if you just leave your answer like this, I will take 1 point off. Everything is correct, except you forget to check. So in your test, I'll take a point off. Okay. So these are the questions that you will get in my final. So make sure you guys know how to do this question. Okay. If you have more questions on 1.2, just let me know, because we need to move on to 1.3 here, because this is the more difficult one. This is your word problem. Okay. Questions on 1.3, please let me know. Before you move on to 1.3, I would recommend you to go and watch this 1.3 video in your the old Zoom 1.3 that I did in my previous class. And also, if you go under material, under content here, There is also one, my instructor notes. Yep, go on the instructor note and go to 1.3. And you will get my notes. So, so this is something I want to point out to you guys before I continue with 1.3 here. The word is less, okay? So watch carefully when you have the word less. So if I say 10 is less than L, is L minus 10. The word less than, you have to switch your numbers around. So what do I mean in this case is, if I say 7 is less than 8, this in words, in math, this is not 7 minus 8. This is wrong. This should be 8 minus 7. Okay, so make sure you guys know this. And the word subtract, if I say 7 subtract from 8, what do you think? 7 minus 8 or 8 minus 7? When I use the word subtract. 7 subtract from 8. Which one is correct? 7 minus 8 or 8 minus 7? This is very important because this is what a lot of students do wrong in my test. Which one is correct? Yes. Is 7 minus 8 and 8 minus 7, are they the same? Are they still the same? No, these are not the same. So that's why you have to watch carefully. So if I use the word subtract, it's also 8 minus 7. So this is the two words that I want you to watch out when you do the word problem here. Is the word less than, less or less than, and the word subtract from. Because this actually reverse your order. So you don't put 7 minus 8, you put 8 minus 7. But if I use other words like 7, the difference between 7 and 8, yes, then you do 7 minus 8. So if you have other words beside less or subtract, like difference, minus, all those English words that we use, then you just follow 7 minus 8, the first one minus the second one. But if you have the less of subtract, you do the second one minus the first one. This is something that I want to point out to you. And for those students who doesn't know, these are all the words we use. Like equal is the word is, are words, addition is sum, plus, subtract is difference, minus. And you know that the reason why I'm circling these two words here, less than and subtracted from, is because it goes backwards, like what I just did here in here. Product, multiply twice, percent of, multiplication. Quotient, divide, ratio, per, they're all division. So these are all the keywords that we use quite a lot in this section. And then also, if you go to your textbook on page 95, where is my textbook? Just let's exit out. So if you go to the textbook on page 95, there is a whole page of formulas. Okay. Now, I want to point out to you that that formula is provided in your test, in your finals, okay? So if you go to this 1.3. So this is, where is that? So sometimes I like to use, where is that page? I don't know if you guys watched this video. They show a lot of videos here. So so this is a formula. Do you see the formula page here? The volumes, this whole page, you see that? And also this temperature, simple, compound, distance. So this whole formula that you see here will be provided in your final. So you do not need to memorize any formulas that's in here. You guys with me here? Okay, so this formula is provided in your finals. So let's take a look at your 1.3 before we continue with questions you have on 1.3. You guys are all quiet now. Number 8. You guys know about the watch it symbol, right? The watch it thingy right here. So if you are kind of stuck on something else, please click watch it. Okay. So question 8. The question is asking us to write a verbal description. So this is an expression. So what is the difference between an expression and an equation? An expression means that you don't have an equal sign. So it will be like 6x plus 5. This is an expression. An equation is you have an equal sign. So it's 6x plus 5 equals to 3. So make sure you guys know the difference between an expression and an equation. So like this kind of question 8 here, they are asking you to write an expression. So the total revenue obtained by selling X unit at $12.74 per unit. So that means that so every unit costs this much and you're selling X. So how do you write this as your total revenue? 12.74. If you sell 1 unit, you multiply it by 1, right? If you sell 2 units, you multiply it by 2. If you sell 3 units, you multiply by 3. What happens if you sell X units? Then you just need to multiply this by X. So your answer in this case is 12.74x. And make sure that this X is a lowercase, because if you give a capital X, they will mark you wrong. So your online homework is very picky with your variables. So make sure you guys watch carefully. If they use lowercase, use lowercase. If they use uppercase, you use uppercase. Okay. You guys all right with number 8? Number 8 is very easy. This is called expression because there's no equal sign. Next, we're going to do is number 10. Question 10 is asking a salesperson weekly paycheck is 50% more than a second salesperson paycheck. If the paycheck total is $1,625, find the amount for each paycheck. Round your answer to the nearest cent. So nearest cent means how many decimal places? Anyone know nearest cent, how many decimal places? 2. Yes, 2 is correct. So so the first thing I want to point out to you guys is if you have this kind of word questions, you have to declare your X, your variable X. So how do we declare your variable X? And here we got 2 persons, right? One is a first person and the one is a second salesperson. So how do you declare variable X here? Please pay attention here. This is usually you pay attention. So if you look at this first sentence that you have here, the one that comes last is always X. Let me repeat. If you read that first sentence, the person who comes the last one is always your X. So in this case, your X will be your second salesperson. And it's always like this. So someone asks, is that always like this? The answer is yes, it's always. So if a question always asks you something like this, second one will be always X. So can you give me the salesperson paycheck is 50% more? So how do we write that for the first person in terms of X? It says 50% more. Anyone? Anyone know how to write 50% more for the first person?
2.5.
Huh?
2.5.
How you get 2.5?
You divide by 100. 50 divided by 100. 100%.
Okay. 50 divided by 100 is half.
Half, yeah. So
it's 0.5x. Yep, 50 divided by 100 is half, 0.5. Is this correct? No, this is wrong. Kara is correct. So so what you do here is because this person is 50% more, so this is actually 1.5x. Why is 1.5x? Is because you add half, yes, you add 0.5x, but you're adding it with the second person. And don't forget, this x is 1. So these are like terms. So 1 plus 0.5 is 1.5. So what that means that if this person earned $100, this person will earn 150, right? Because it's 50% more. So 1.5 times 100, you get 150. So this is the correct way to do this. So make sure that you guys know that don't put 0.5x here. If you put 0.5x, you get it wrong. Okay. And now the question say that the total is how much? The total is 1625. So what do you mean by the total is 1625? What is the total stands for? Total between the first and the second one, right? And what's the meaning of the word total? Should we add, subtract, multiply, or divide here? Total means we have to add them. So in this case, you add these two. So the first person is 1.5x. The second person is x. And this is 1625. So this is for the first person. This is for the second person. So the first person is 1.5x. The second person is x. So don't forget, this x has a 1 in front. So you can combine like terms here. So what is 1.5x plus 1x? 1.5 plus 1 give you 2.5x. And then what you do with this 2.5, you divide it. Anyone has a calculator? So where is 1625 divided by 2.5? 650. But this 650 is for the first person or the second person? This 650 is for the second person, yes. So this question wants you to find both person. So the second person is 650, then what will be the first person will be? You have to multiply that by 1.5, right? So 1.5 times 650. So if you multiply this by 1.5, you get what? 975. So this is how we do this question. So the first person paid, this is the first. Which one is the correct one? What's the answer you put in for the first one? It should be 975. And the second one is 650. And the total of this should be 1625. So when you add these two numbers, it should be 1625. You guys all right here with this one? Questions before I move on to the next one, which is question number 12. Is it 12? Kara, is it 12? 12. Yep. Right. So number 12, it says that a family has a monthly mortgage payment of $600. $600. Which is 16% of the monthly income. So the question is, what is the family monthly income? So what we do here is we will change this into what we call as equation. So 600 is still 600. Is means equal in equation, in math, is equal. 16% in decimal is 0.16. We should take 16 divided by 100. The word of, you guys remember what is the word of means? Anyone know where is the word of? Is that addition, subtraction, multiply, or divide? The word of. It will be this one. You see that? 3% off. So it's going to be multiplication. So that means that this is going to be a multiply. So off means is multiplied. The month, I'm going to not use that. Sorry. I'm gonna use a dot. And the monthly income is what we need to find, so I'll just use X. So you guys know how to solve for X here? You just divide this by what? 0.16, and that will be your answer. So calculator, 600 divided by 0.16. 3,750. $3,750. You guys all right here? Question, I can do one more question. I know you passed that 1 o'clock time. Anyone have questions in 1.3? Like question number 15 is very difficult, and you won't get this kind of questions in the finals. Okay, we'll do question 15 here. Okay, so in question number 15, it says that a truck driver travels at an average speed of 75 miles per hour on a 190 miles. Question 15 will not be on your final, will not in your finals. Okay. A truck driver travels at an average speed of 75 miles per hour on a 190 miles trip to pick up a load of freight. On a return trip, the average speed is 55 miles per hour. What is the average speed? So when students see this word average, a lot of students think, oh, average means I add them up and divide by 2. So I take 75 miles per hour and 55 miles per hour coming back. I add them up and divide it by 2. Okay, that is wrong. Whatever you get here, you will get it. That's wrong. Okay, so this is not as easy as that. Okay, so what you need to figure out here is you have to figure out the time. So in order for us to find this average speed, okay, so as you remember, this is the formula that we have. Where's my formula? Okay, there you go. So if you look at the speed, the distance here, the distance is equals to rate times time, right? So the formula we will use here is distance equals rate times time. Rate is your speed. So in order for us to figure out the speed, you have to divide by the time. So in order for us to find the average speed, it has to be the distance over time. So you need to first find out what is, and this distance has 2. The distance that goes one way and the distance going the second way. And the time also, time for the going first and time for the second. So where's my question here? So in order for us to do this, we know the distance already. The distance is 190 miles trip. So this distance is 190. And coming back is also 190 because the distance should be the same. The time is the one that you need to figure out. So how do you figure out this time here? You have to use distance equals to rate times time. So the first way going down the distance is 190 miles. The rate is 75 miles per hour times time. So you have to divide this by 75 to figure out your time here. So 190 divided by 75. You cannot round this. This is 2.53333. And then you also have to figure out the time for the second one, which is, it takes slower. It is 55 miles per hour. So in this case, the distance is still 190. The distance is 55. So in this case is 190 equals to 55 times your time, because the speed is slower. So again, in order for us to find the time here, I divide by 55. So again, 190 divided by 55. This is 3.45454545. So what you do here is now you can find the average speed here. So 190 plus 190 is 380, because traveling back and forth is the same distance. Now you need to add this time. So 3.454545 plus 2.533333333, a lot of threes. So this is 5. Again, you cannot round this. If you round up to 6, you get it wrong. 5.987. Give it to like 6 or 7 decimal. Oh, no, 8787. Oh, there's a lot of 8787. Okay, 8787. I just dropped the 5454 behind. So so I take 380 divided by 5.987878787. No, 8687. 8787878787. See how much is that going to be? 63. So your answer in this case will be 63.46. How many decimal place do we need? 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place is 63.5. So this will be 63.5. And this is how you get your answer in this case. This is tough. I didn't say this is easy. Okay, this is super tough. Okay, so this is how we figure out the average speed. Is you take the distance for the first one and the distance of the second one, add them up, and the time for the first one, and times add them up, and then you divide those two up. That's how you find this average speed in this case. You guys all right? And again, this is not going to come out in your finals here. Okay, but I'm sorry.
Do we have a Zoom class next week? Do we have a Zoom class next week?
Yes, we have a Zoom class next Tuesday, and we still have 3 more sections left: 1, 4, 1, 5, and 1, 7, and that will be the Zoom class for that. Okay, I'm gonna go 1 more questions, and then we'll the rest you have to find a Zoom time with me one-on-one. We're gonna do question number 16. Again, the reason why I'm doing all this question is except 15. You will see that in your test. Okay. Now, the thing about 16 is tricky. They want you to figure out how long is this shadow of a tree that this, let me read the question. You measure a tree shadow to find that it's 7 meters. So this is 7 meters long. Then you measure the shadow of the lamp, which is 2 meters with a 75 centimeter. The question is asking you, how tall is this tree? So we have a tree here, cast a shadow. We doesn't know how, I use X here. I don't know why the question is X. And it casts a shadow of 7 meters. So this is 7 meters here. And then you got a lamp post, which is 2 meters tall. And it casts a shadow of 75 centimeters. So the question is asking for how tall is this tree. So in order for us to do this is first you have to have everything in the same unit. They're all meter, but this is in centimeter. So you have to convert this to meters. Does anyone know how to convert centimeter to meter? Anyone know? This is metrics, which we do not use in America. Do anyone know how to convert centimeter to meter? Centi stands for century. So century is like 100. So you have to divide this by 100. So in order for us to start doing this question, you have to make them to become meters. So you divide this by 100. So 75 divided by 100 will give you 0.75. So this will be 0.75 meters. Okay. Next, what you need to do here is you have to create a ratio. So this is gonna be x over 7, because it's x over 7. This is 2 over by 0.75. So this comes from this, from the tree, this comes from the lamppost. So this is what we call as a ratio or a proportion. So in order for us to solve this kind of ratio proportion, you have to cross multiply. So x times 0.75, you get 0.75x equal 7 times 2 is 14. Your 14 is always on that side. I see a lot of students put 14 over here. That is wrong. Okay, so make sure you put the 14 on the other side. 7 times 2 is 14. Now, in order for us to solve for x, you have to divide this by 0.75. And that's your, take out your calculator, and 14 divided by 0.75, you will get 18.666666. So in 1 decimal place is 18.7. So this is 18.7. You guys all right with this one? Because this kind of questions you will get in your test. So you will get in your finals, you will get a question regarding with like this, casting a shadow. Same thing with number 17, they are the same, but without any pictures. So you won't get any pictures, but the good thing is that it will be in food. So everything is in terms of food. So you do not need to do like this question, you have to convert this to meter. So I will recommend you to do question 17 because they're all in food. So these are questions you get in your finals. And also you will get a question like question 10. This is 50% more or something else, or 50% less, something like this. Okay, so in your finals for the word problem, you will get question 10, where it's kind of something like that, but instead of 50% more, I can be 50% less, 25% more, something like that. Instead of paycheck, it can be something else, okay? And then you will get something like question number 16 or 17, where you will get yourself a shadow, like something, cast a shadow or something else like that. Okay. So make sure you guys know how to do these questions in the word problem, because you will be in the finals. You won't get any mixtures problems or anything. So yeah, this will be the one that I will thinking about giving you in your test. Maybe question 13, maybe question 13, which is this one. Do you guys know how to do question 13? Do you guys know how to do question 13? This is the last one if you need to go over. So please, I think I did do this in your in the other Zoom meetings because I'm running out of time here. So please watch it. I will recommend you to go home and watch this question 13, which is very similar to this question, because I think I will give you, I think I will give you these 3 questions in your word problem: 10, 6, 7, that's called 17 and 13. So these are the, you will get something like this in your tests, in your finals. You guys have any questions for me? So don't forget, you got 3 homeworks due tonight: 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. You got 3 homework due on the next Tuesday, which is 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 7. You don't do 1, 6. And that was your last 3 homework. And then after that, you will have a test. Your finals only consists of chapter 1. Please review the test. And again, same thing like your midterm. It's going to be Thursday, Friday. Thursday is from those A to L, I think A to L or A to K. Please check, I think A to L. Yeah, please check. I think it's A to L. It's the same thing as last time. A to K, sorry, A to K, and then L to Z will be the one for Friday. Same classroom, same time. Again, please go and do your self-assessment. If you fail this self-assessment, you need to have a Zoom testing with me. So so make sure you guys be prepared for that. Anyone have any questions before I go here? Right, so please watch the 1.3 video here. This is the YouTube that I did last summer. So make sure you watch. There's a word problem. That's what you do. All right, if you don't have video, you might, that's it for today's class. I'm gonna stop recording here.